The city had grown around Greystone Manor like ivy climbing a trellis. Modern apartments and businesses hemmed it in, but the ancient structure stood resolute, its foreboding stone walls and intricate wrought iron gates exuding an aura of mystery and silent defiance. On its parapets were the gargoyles, grotesque and watchful. Sarah Montgomery had never believed the rumors about the manor she had just inherited from an unknown relative. Whispers of its haunted halls and cursed grounds had circled the town for generations, but when she stood before its imposing entrance, the weight of its history pressed upon her. The mansion seemed to breathe in the early evening light. Shadows played tricks on her eyes, making the gargoyles seem almost animated. Shaking the eerie feeling, she pushed the heavy doors open. Inside, Sarah was met with an amalgamation of eras, oil paintings of somber-looking ancestors, the most recent of which bore an uncanny resemblance to her, adorned the walls. As she explored, each room seemed to tell tales from a different century, but it was the library that beckoned her most powerfully. Nestled among dusty tomes was a journal bearing today's date. The most recent entry spoke of the gargoyles, the protectors of Greystone. Their purpose was to guard a hidden chamber that held a dark secret. Intrigued and skeptical, Sarah decided to seek this chamber. Using the journal as a guide, she navigated a maze of hallways until she reached a statue of a gargoyle, identical to those outside but smaller. The journal's instruction was clear: turn the gargoyle's head at midnight. Hours felt like days as Sarah waited. The mansion creaked and groaned. Every so often, she felt as if she were being watched. Midnight arrived, the grandfather clock's chime resonating through the house. Hesitantly, she approached the statue and turned its head. A hidden door swung open, revealing a stairway leading down. The air grew colder, the weight of countless eons pressing upon her. At the bottom, Sarah found herself in a vast chamber illuminated by an ethereal glow. In its center was an altar, upon which rested a crystalline orb. Approaching the orb, images flooded her mind. She saw the construction of Greystone Manor and the summoning of the gargoyles. They were not just protectors, but prisoners, cursed to watch over the orb, the heart of Greystone for eternity. Sarah felt a presence behind her. She turned to see an apparition, an ethereal figure that looked remarkably like her. The heart of Greystone must remain here. Disturb it, and the gargoyles will be free, but their wrath will be unbound. Realizing the weight of her responsibility, Sarah left the chamber, sealing the door behind her. The mansion seemed more alive than before. She could feel the eyes of the gargoyles upon her, watchful and wary. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah found herself drawn to the orb's chamber, night after night. The power it exuded was intoxicating. But one evening, in a moment of weakness and curiosity, she touched the orb. The mansion trembled. Outside, a deafening roar echoed. The gargoyles, once stone statues, now flapped their wings, free from their cursed prison. The sky turned dark as they circled the manor, their eyes glowing with malice. The apparition appeared once more. You have released them. Only by returning the heart to its rightful place and willingly taking on the curse can they be contained. Sarah, realizing the gravity of her mistake, rushed to the chamber. Holding the orb, she chanted the words from the journal. As the final word left her lips, a blinding light enveloped her. The next morning, Greystone Manor stood silent. The gargoyles were back on their perches, but one more had joined their ranks, its features bearing an uncanny resemblance to Sarah Montgomery. As the years went by, the city continued to grow around the manor, and the tales of the cursed Montgomery family and their guardian gargoyles became legends told in hushed tones. But at night, if one were to listen closely, they might hear the soft melancholic sighs of Sarah, the newest protector of Greystone Manor, forever bound to its walls. The city around Greystone Manor buzzed with life, its inhabitants largely ignorant of the manor's haunted past and the tale of Sarah Montgomery's sacrifice. The only individual who seemed to remember was an elderly historian named Elric Forsyth. Elric, having spent years researching the mysteries of Greystone Manor, had stumbled upon Sarah's story decades ago. One evening, a young woman named Clara, a journalism student, approached him after a lecture he gave at the local library. Clara had a deep interest in the paranormal and was intrigued by the legend of Greystone. Elric saw the same curiosity in Clara's eyes that he once possessed. "Would you like to uncover the true story behind the manor?" he asked, handing her a worn-out map. It showed a hidden entrance to Greystone Manor, not from the front where Sarah had entered, but from below. Eager for a breakthrough story, Clara made her way to the manor under the cloak of night. Using the map, she discovered a forgotten underground tunnel. Cobwebs brushed her face, and the damp air felt thick with anticipation. The tunnel led to the very heart of the manor, the chamber where the heart of Greystone, the crystalline orb, lay. The orb pulsed with an otherworldly light, and as Clara approached, she heard soft whispering voices. One of them, melancholic yet familiar from old photographs, was undoubtedly Sarah's. "Why have you come here?" the voice whispered. Clara, trying to hide her trembling hands, replied, "I seek the truth behind the legend." Sarah's voice grew clearer, resonating through the chamber. "Then you must know the complete story. The gargoyles were not just guardians, but keys to an ancient power, the very essence of Greystone. When I touched the orb, I bound myself to this place, not just as a protector, but as a vessel." As Sarah spoke, Clara noticed other orbs previously hidden in the chamber's shadows. Each orb represents a Montgomery who became a guardian. Over the centuries, our souls have merged with Greystone's essence. Clara, gripped with a mix of fear and empathy, asked, "How can the cycle be broken? How can you be freed?" Sarah sighed. "The orbs must be reunited with the respective gargoyle. Only then can the guardians be set free." Armed with this revelation, Clara and Elric teamed up. Using the map and combining their knowledge, they identified each gargoyle representing a Montgomery ancestor. Night after night, Clara ventured into the chamber, retrieving an orb and placing it into the hands of its corresponding gargoyle. Each time an orb was set, the gargoyle would shudder, and its once stone form would briefly shimmer with life, releasing the trapped soul within. As the final orb, Sarah's, was placed, a tremendous energy surged through the manor. The ground shook, and a blinding light emanated from the heart of Greystone. When the light faded, the gargoyles had vanished, leaving behind only their stone pedestals. The manor, however, stood unchanged, its walls now echoing with a silence that spoke of freedom rather than haunting. Greystone Manor was eventually converted into a museum, curated by Clara and overseen by Elric. It stood not just as a testament to Gothic architecture, but as a monument to the sacrifices of the Montgomery family. Visitors would often speak of a serene feeling they experienced within its walls, and on quiet nights, one could almost hear the soft laughter of liberated souls dancing freely in the moonlight.